Hello, my name is Andy and welcome to my garage. Today we're going to work on changing the brake pads and replacing the brake fluids for the BMW X3 2014. Okay, first things first, we need to gather all the parts for the job. Starting with the rear and front brake pads, we're going to need some torque wrenches, some sockets of course, and all the tools if you need to. Over there, when we want to exchange the brake fluid, we're going to need the container with the tube. That tube is actually 316 ID or 516 OD. You can find it at Home Depot. Brake clean, the brake fluid itself, the anti-seize, some lighting if required. We also need the special piston compression tool or the C-clamp for the front. You need that for the rear because it has an electronic parking mechanism in there. You cannot use a C-clamp. So let's come closer to see what piece we need in there. Alright, so this is the set of piston compression tool that you need to use. You need to use that device for sure with the little plaque there. And I use this number 6. See, number 6 to compress the rear brake piston. A little bit later you're going to find out why we need it, because the other side of that is the parts of actuator that got exposed, and we don't want to destroy that. So this is the best way to compress the piston without damaging it. So let's get started. Next, we remove the fluid reservoir cap and the filter. Next, we're going to put in the new brake fluid. I use the .4 SL, but you're going to check yours to see what kind of brake fluid you need. Don't have to fill it up, but just enough to have it nearly full. It's okay that it is not completely drained, because the remaining fluid going to be sucked out when we pump the fluid from the pedal after we change the brake pad. Don't overfill it, because after we use a C-clamp to press the pad, the old pad, it might ooze up a little bit. Next, we jack the car on the rear passenger side up and remove the tire, because the brake pad and brake line on this side is the furthest, and we want to change the brake pad, and then we drain the fluid for this tube. And then we're going to do it on the rear driver's side, the front passenger, and then last is the driver front. Okay, 17 millimeter lug nuts. It's good to have a jack stand right below the suspension here as a safety, and then we can work on removing the brake pad. Next, we want to remove the two guide pins here and here, but before that we're going to remove this brake sensor to get it out of the way. We're going to need the 15 millimeter wrench to hold this. Next we are going to remove the bottom one. This is a 15mm wrench on this side to hold it. Now we want to clean the brake caliper and then press the piston in using the brake clean product here. And the toothbrush so that we don't damage anything. Next we want to remove the T27 bones here, 2 of them. And the electricity here. It stops. Next we're going to use the brake compression tools using the number 6 adapter and go in. To compress the piston. So now we put back the motor. Next we put on the anti-seize on the crucial parts of the brake pads at the tip here where it actually have friction, and put it in. This one on the left side. This one is on the inside because there's a place for the wear sensor. Don't want to lose that. $15mm here. Yeah. Next we want to press the brake in, but before that we have to close the cap on the reservoir, and then after we press the pedal, it's going to come in and we're going to bleed it through this valve here. Step is to bleed the brake. We're going to put the tube in here and use the 11mm wrench. You're going to need another helper to press the pedal. When we release this, the brake fluid is going to go into this tube here. So now I'm going to tell the helper to release, press the brake. Press the brake. Okay, the fluid is coming out. Hold it. Okay, let go. Press it. Hold it. Tighten it here. Okay, done. Thank you. To put on the tires and torque the lug nuts 103 foot-pound. There are two of those, one above and one below. Okay, press in. Let go. Press in. Okay, let go. Thank you. Now we take the two guys screws out. There we go. Don't need to grease the pin, we just clean it. It's good enough. Now talk to 23 foot-pound. Take the bungee cord off. Put the sensor in. Remember the fat end goes out. Yeah, there's a sensor. Should clean it a little bit with brake pad. Brake clean. And push it in. Now, final step, the clips. Well, last step is to bleed. Oh, putting the two caps for the pins back in. And now bleed the. Okay, after pumping the brakes so that the parts go in against the disc, we bleed the final brake now. So we need a helper and press. Okay, hold it. Let go. Press. All right, thank you. We're done. The last step is to make sure that we fill up to the maximum. Put the filter back in. And now we go to reset the maintenance service. The next thing to do is to reset the maintenance record for the brakes, rear and front brakes, as well as the fluid. In order to do that, we need to go to the maintenance mode. So first we hit the start-stop engine key without hitting the brake, because it's going to start the engine and we don't want to start the engine. So here we go. Alright, it's going to show some record. The second thing to do is to hold the lower left reset button here, and it's going to switch into the maintenance mode, and we keep hitting to this button to switch into all the options. The option we just navigated through was the fluid. Now this one is rear brake and the front brake. Sorry, I already did it once and it was out of focus, so I cannot show you how to do it again with the proper numbers. But once you see reset possible, like for example this one is brake fluid, all you got to do is hold the reset button, and it's going to start the reset sequence. And there you go, that's it.